Hello, everybody. Welcome back. 'Tis Thursday once again. That means we get to turn our attention to everybody's favorite little website, the Wheel o' Jank. 73 entries remain, still live on the wheel. We've had comics the past 2 weeks, so let's see. We shuffle, we give it a spin. Let's see what in the world comes up this week. It's going to be fun regardless, I think. But here we go. Slowing down. I think I left the speakers on, so we might get some ba-doom-ga-doom-ga-doom music. But coming up. Oh, this ought to be interesting. We got us some Elvis. That's going to be fun. Stay tuned. Hello, everybody. We're over at the table now. The big old box o' Jank. So we're hunting for the pack of Elvis cards. I, for the life of me, cannot remember what they look like, and I'm losing this. But thankfully, there's actually stuff to talk about while I search. Before we begin, does anybody remember the movie Bubba Hotep? Speaking of Elvis. It was with Bruce Campbell and the late, great Ozzie Davis. It's Bruce Campbell it's set in a nursing home, I think somewhere in Texas. And the gist of it is, you have Bruce Campbell, who's a guy that's supposedly Elvis, and Ozzie Davis is supposedly JFK, and they're living in a retirement home, being tracked down. Oh, there we go, I see Elvis. Being tracked down by a zombie pharaoh, as it were. Good movie. Check it out. They never made the sequel, thank God. Yes, can't remember if I've seen these before, but we have here. All new Season 3 of the Elvis Collection. The cards of his life. 12 cards per pack. Alright, let's see. Order 5x7 postcard set. $14.95. Relatively reasonably priced in 1993. I don't know. I have no idea what this is going to be, but settle in. We're going to have some fun, and there's plenty of stuff to talk about. Ooh, stuff on the back. Let's go. Pardon me. And off we go. It's upside down. Yeah, the infamous guns. We know Elvis loved his guns. As you tour the trophy building at Graceland, a place I've actually always wanted to go, that in Dollywood, you'll find the sampling of Elvis's extensive gun and badge collection. Most little boys play cops and robbers. At left, there are photos showing him doing the same thing. Well, there's other C cards. And the fascination stayed with him. Being a famous person, Elvis was often in the company of security people. They gave him badges and memberships in law enforcement fraternities. Everywhere he went, officers gave Elvis credentials and badges of all types. His collection is one of the largest ever amassed by a civilian. I did not know. And hopefully, now that they bring that up, hopefully the famous picture of him and Nixon is in here. That would be awesome. But we're going to have some good photography. That is a really slick-looking photo, actually. In 1992, RCA released a box set of Elvis Presley material on 5 compact discs. It was called The King of Rock and Roll, The Complete 50s Masters. The collection included every studio master recording of Elvis Presley released during the 50s, along with selected retakes, early live tracks, and previously unreleased material. For the cover of the box, in the enclosed booklet, they chose an alternate shot from a 1956 concert appearance pictured here. And that is a really cool photo because you don't see much of him. That is a really, really slick-looking photo. There we go. Elvis with the guitar. Saturday, June 30th, 1956. Elvis was in Richmond, Virginia for 2 shows at the Mosque Theater. Alfred Wertheimer tagged along for the ride and for the pictures. Toward the end of a dynamic no-holds-barred performance, Elvis stepped up to the microphone and told the crowd, "Tomorrow night I'm going to be on the Steve Allen Show. I hope y'all watch me. I hope I do well so you can be proud of me." Then he screamed, "Let's get real gone," and launched into a pulsating version of Tutti Frutti. That would have been kind of cool. There we go. We got reaching, touching fingers with a fan. Elvis loved to wear rings, but they presented a twofold problem. First of all, he put so much energy into his performance that his hands would sweat and the rings would fall off. Secondly, whenever he reached into a crowd, there was always the possibility that some overanxious fan might grab the jewelry as a souvenir. To eliminate the loss of expensive rings, Elvis took to wearing bandages or tape on his fingers. Interesting. That kind of makes sense. I mean, absolutely makes sense. Here we go. Elvis and some showgirls. Viva Las Vegas. In the proud tradition of Hollywood's greatest movie musicals, Viva Las Vegas tells its story with some colorful and lavish production numbers. I think I've seen that a long time ago. All the glamour and glitter that Vegas had to offer went into Elvis's 15th film. And the spirited performances by the stunning showgirls and his co-star Anne Margaret, big fan of Anne Margaret, made it an extravaganza from start to finish. Perhaps the movie ad said it best. It's that go-go guy and that bye-bye gal in the fun capital of the world. Actually, that's a pretty good summation. There we go. Military Elvis. We got Army days. Elvis was in rare form at his final U.S. Army press conference. He answered all the typical questions about his eligible bachelor status and social life. He raised a few eyebrows when he said that he wouldn't be growing his sideburns back. Asked to name his favorite singers, he answered Dean Martin, Mr. Sinatra, Patti Page, Kitty Callan, and quite a few others. Finally, someone asked the king about a female reporter who had called him the sexiest man I've ever seen. Elvis jumped to his feet with a big grin and asked, "Where is that young lady now?" You know what? That right there is the absolute best way to answer that. Pardon me. There we go. That pompadour, man. Elvis always exhibited good manners and good humor at his press conferences. He even managed to say a few kind words about his adult critics. As a rule, most of the adults are really nice. They're understanding. They come round to me by the hundred and say, I don't personally like your kind of music, but my children like it. And if they like it, well, I ain't got any kick about it. Because when I was young, I liked the Charleston. They're adults with little intelligence. With a little intelligence. Well, mine wasn't far off. I mean, they don't run people into the ground for having a nice time. Touche, Elvis. Touche. Oh, upside down, sorry. We got the Elvis SRO. What be that? Elvis certainly enjoyed himself in concert. It was the one place he could always count on to be in control. He knew instinctively how to work the crowd into a frenzy. It was a seduction, really, laced with loads of good humor and great music. Mine's out of the gutter. That's why it seems so incredible that he would deny himself the pleasure of a live audience for such a long time, but that's exactly what happened. For 8 years, he contented himself with movies and albums until the roar of the crowd lured him back to his home away from home, the concert stage. No one can stay away forever. There we go. We got Leather Elvis with the sideburns. God, you could set your watch by those sideburns. Believe it or not, Elvis was quite nervous about his return to live performance. That doesn't surprise me. I think a lot of musicians, even to this day, will say they always get nervous before big shows. At the concert videotaping for the 68 special, he expressed his doubts. I haven't been in front of those people in 8 years. What am I going to do if they don't like me? A member of the production team noted that when Elvis walked on stage and reached for the microphone, his hand was actually shaking. But once he started singing, he quickly regained his form, exuding loads of confidence, charisma, and charm. Well, that's always how you do it. You know, you dust off the nerves and then get right back into it. Ooh, we got one of the Sun records. That is a cool-looking label. It is a collector's item to die for, an original copy of Elvis Presley's debut single on Sun Records. That's all right. Sorry, I had to pause there. Something caught in my throat. It was written in the late 40s by Arthur Big Boy Crudup. Elvis managed to record the single on July 5th, 1954 at Sun Records in Memphis. Well, that's coming up, actually. Released exactly 2 weeks later, it shot to number 4 on the Memphis music surveys, but did not chart nationally. Fewer than 20,000 copies were sold, but the rest, as they say, is history. An original copy in good condition is worth hundreds of dollars. Quick, check your record collection. Well, I don't have to, because I know for a fact I don't have one, but back in 1993, it's worth a lot more than that, I guarantee you that. And that's the one thing people always say, like, oh, I have original pressings of, like, Led Zeppelin and, the Doors and all that. What are they, they have to be worth something. Well, not really, because back in the day when they said they sold 1 million records, that's what they did. They literally sold 1 million records. So all those records you have, there are millions of them floating around out there. But that one with only 20,000, bit of a different story. Moving on. There we go. God, that hair. You think that actually happened, or was there the industrial fan? All right. It happened at the World's Fair. And it happened at the World's Fair, Elvis swung and connected for some major hits in more ways than one. The fight scene shown here called for his character Mike Edwards to swing his fists, and in a manner more befitting Elvis, he swung his hips and sung his heart out in 10 musical numbers, including Take Me to the Fair, One Broken Heart for Sale, and A World of Our Own. And there was a tuneful happy ending, and for a tuneful happy ending, there was happy ending. Well, that's fitting. Now, this is a cool shot. I wish, part of me really wishes. Man, I wish I could pull off a sequin jumpsuit. Talk to fans who went to a lot of Elvis concerts, and they'll say that you never really heard Elvis until you've heard him live. I think that's true for a lot of people. And you never heard him live unless you heard him in Vegas. Well, possibly. Without the pressures of daily travel, he was relaxed there, and the production elements were consistently strong. One of the great injustices to Elvis is that non-fans and unsupportive media now refer to him as Vegas Elvis. But in reality, he played there several weeks a year. He just played there several weeks a year and was anything but the tuxedoed act traditionally associated with the town. He was better and fresher than anyone else who played there and topped himself each and every time he did. I think that's one of those things. Like, I've been to Vegas many times. Well, there we go. And the last one is a special offer for a life-size Elvis wall poster. There's all that. And the deluxe Elvis collection album kit. We love our propaganda swag. Excuse me. Anyway, as I was saying, been to Vegas many times, and I've seen a couple shows. I'd never really wanted to go see a show just to see a show, for the sake of seeing a show. But my dad, my grandfather, and we did, over the course of time, get to see Brad Garrett, where he made fun of me and my gigantic head, which was hilarious. Also called my grandfather Father Time. Saw Penn and Teller, who were amazing, and saw Don Rickles, the actual last link. May he rest in peace, but he was the last link to old Las Vegas. And now we move on to the community shout-out, and it is everybody's buddy, Frank. Frank's Cards and Collectibles, sitting at $5.70. Look, we love Frank. Frank is, a huge Montreal Canadiens fan, but we still love him in spite of that. He's just a good guy, getting mail, opening cards, popping into live streams, popping into your comments. And this Sunday at 9 Eastern, he will be on Maiden's show, so make sure to go over there and check out Frank, Maiden, and Tim. And now, since really... Oh, and interesting follow-up to yesterday, as I reach for the pack of... Oh, it's going to be Art Suydam today, so more art cards. Pun intended. I pulled the Talia Tagovailoa autograph out of the box of Sage and mentioned that he had gone undrafted. The Seahawks looked him up, but didn't sign him. Well, it turns out today he has signed with... Oh crap! What team in the CFL was it? Calgary? I think it was the Calgary Stampeders. Maybe. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but I'll have it in the chat by this time. But he has been signed by the CFL. So I didn't know that then, but at least I can give you the update now. And now to Art Suydam. Here's the stack of what I've built so far. Probably another couple packs, and I'm going to print out a checklist, and we're going to complete this set. But for now, we can just enjoy the beautiful artwork, and I love it. Giants. In the 1970s, I wrote a story about a giant who swallowed an entire community. The misfortunates were doomed to spend the rest of their days living out their lives in his belly. No thanks. Ooh. Which way do you go? That way. I like that. The rose. There is something strangely seductive about the construction and fragrance of a rose. All right, I'll give you that. When a pretty girl would walk down the street wearing a rose-scented perfume, I couldn't help but get sniffing after her. Preach, good sir. That is a lot of stuff. It looks like a Where's Waldo thing, honestly. Urban Life. This was inspired by life on the Lower East Side in Lower Manhattan. Yeah, it looks about right. What in the universe? Now we're getting some new ones. I don't recall ever seeing these. The Amusement Park. This one came to me in a dream, as all good things do. I dreamt that I was on a funhouse ride through the internals of a giant devil, and he began to waken. In the dream, I became sick with fear that my cart would not make it out the other end before he became completely conscious. Well, that would be absolutely terrifying. And we're still looking for, what are they? There was something, the randomly inserted metallic. Yeah, we're looking for the metallic one. Still haven't seen one yet, but we're still getting some amazing artwork. It's a bum. The Original Adventures of Collie and Flytrap. I think I've seen this one before. I think this was my second attempt at painting after the Mammoth piece. This was done in, was it word gouache? I don't know what that is, actually. I was trying to do that Frazetta oil thing in watercolor. With watercolor, it may look easy to get those soft blends, but it's not. No, I don't think anything about painting is easy. Seen this guy before, the pterodactyl. Forbidden Worlds. I used to collect reptiles. I had a crocodile who would occasionally sleep with me. Nope. All my scaly pets offered invaluable resource points for my drawings, and this one was done for Shanes and Shanes. I can't tell if that's an A or an O. We've got the rabbit riding the vulture. Seen this one. Brer Rabbit. Yep, I love the Old South. I love the people, the etiquette, the culture, the swamps. I went out of order, but you get the gist. The Spanish moss and the wildlife. I always wanted to do Brer Rabbit. Ooh. This looks like it could be an album cover from like some British prog rock band back in 1976. Somebody let me know if they agree. French kiss. Oui, oui. I love flowers and big-boned girls. This combination can be devastating. Sure is weather outside, isn't it, folks? There's us. Hey, look at that. We got us a moustache. Shout out Mac Wax, Snacks, and Maiden. We got us a pretty epic moustache. And if I get a double that, that's going in the mustache thing. Oh, mustache on the back, too. Mustache fish. The Storyteller. Yeah, we've seen this one before because I remember remarking on the bucket of ink, or the bucket of water thing. I was like, really? This is done in oil, paint, and ink. One of my first experiments with painting. The painting was repeatedly soaked in a bucket of water. God, you get to that 17-minute mark and you forget syntax and grammar. Hello. We've got burbs. We've got a fair damsel. It looks like she's about ready to skin something. The Falconess. This piece served as an experimental device or study in antique sepia drawing. I like that. I like the artwork. Art Suydam does a lot of really cool stuff. And again, I have gotten him in the past. He is a good TTM signer. And I'm going to have a bunch extra of these. If anybody wants something to send off for a TTM purpose, please let me know. I'll get some out to you. So that is going to do it. Thank you so much again for stopping by Jank Pack Thursday. I am so appreciative of everybody that takes the time. Let's go down through the shout-outs. Well, first off, shout out Elvis and shout out Bruce Campbell because of the reference to Bubba Hotep. Frank's Cards and Collectibles is the shout-out. He's at 570. Again, on Maiden's show with Tim on Sunday, 9 Eastern. Make sure to get over there and let's see if we can't get him up near 600 by that point. If you know Frank and you love Frank, which you all do, tell a friend, tell them to get over because they're going to get to know and love Frank as well. Oh, good times, good times. It's always good times here at Jank Pack Thursday. Oh, also, I'm going to close this out by saying again, links in the description down below for the Thursday proceedings, the ZMMZ, the Zims as I call it. It is Zach, Maiden, Monch, and Zach. The meet between the Zach Witch, the hashtag Zach Witch. We're getting that one started. Actually, no, I take that back. We probably shouldn't do that. But in any event, thanks for joining. Hope you enjoyed. We will see you all in the next one.